Article 19. Everyone has the right to freely profess or express their own religious faith in any form, individually or with others, and to make propaganda and worship privately or publicly, as long as it doesn't go against public decency. Okay, so this article has in it the principle of secular state. So the state is secular because it doesn't distinguish between religions, and this also includes atheism, so not believing. You've got the right to profess that and to make propaganda for that. So the state really has taken a step back and has acted impartially and said, whatever you believe, you have that right to profess and to make propaganda. By propaganda, we mean that I can try to convince other people of my faith. If I believe, you go to heaven if you do this, then I can turn around and tell people that, that's how I think and that's how they should behave, etc. So that's making propaganda, making people believe in something. It says privately or publicly you should be able to worship. So we're talking about your home or maybe the park, which is a public place, as long as it's not against the public decency, buon costume. So this can be something maybe sexual or violent, or maybe gestures or anything that offends people, that is not acceptable to the public, to other people, and people would not like. This changes in time, because many years ago, hundreds of years ago, just even a woman showing her legs was considered indecent, and they had to wear long dresses. So, and maybe some years ago, swearing was considered so terrible and much more taboo than it is now. So this we're talking about what offends the public now, in this current day, what's acceptable and what's not acceptable. So that must be kept within those limits. This article, in fact, is also a defence of conscientious objection. Conscientious objection is when you object to doing something, your duty, because of your conscience. So, for example, not going to war. If you refuse to do that because of your religious faith, that is okay, because you've got a right to profess and express that religious faith. And we know people's religious faith are very deep and very part of us, and that is saying we are free to object to that. That can be other things like professions, like a doctor. Normally a doctor has to always try to heal people, but if he really doesn't believe in abortion, that he's a conscientious objector, he's got the right not to do it because of this article. Another example would be a lawyer. We know that a lawyer must always represent people, can't turn people away, but there are some reasons why he does. We remember in Article 24, everyone's got a right to defence, but if there's a conflict of interest, the lawyer can refuse, or if he knows something about the crime that it is committed and he's got to defend you, then he can refuse. But if he's a conscientious objector, if, for example, it's euthanasia, he's defending a doctor that helps someone die, and that's against his religious faith, he can use this article to object to representing that client. So it does go a bit deeper in that way. Then Article 20 says, or we'll do Article 20 after.